Before you start off the video, just subscribe. Antes que empieces este video, suscríbete. Hola mi gente, hello my people, welcome back. Here we are today. We're going to be doing a review on this sketchbook right here. Hoy vamos a estar haciendo un review de este sketchbook aquí que tenemos. Hay que empezar. Este es el libro de boceteo. Aquí, ya lo ves, qué bonito. Pero solamente lo venden en el color negro. So, así, si querías otro color, pues ni modos, porque no hay. Este es el tamaño más pequeño que hay. Y a mí me encanta usar libretas de boceteo que son más chiquitos, porque así es más fácil bocetear. Para mí no me gusta hacer boceteos grandes. So if you would like to get the sketchbook, I just want you to know that it only comes in the color black. And there are various sizes of the sketchbook. I just happen to have the small one because that's what I prefer to sketch in. Not only that, but they also have different cover types. And there's also a spiral bound sketchbook of the same one as well. We are also going to be doing a little mini review on these double-sided Caran-d'Ache color pencils. These are water soluble, and these are a limited item of Caran-d'Ache. They release it every single year during Christmas time, and I was lucky to be able to purchase one of these. And then we're just going to be using these as well, which is the dipping pen, not the microns. I like to always keep them in this little case here. And then we're going to be using this mechanical pencil that you guys always see with blue lead, and a Blick eraser. One of my favorite erasers, except for it leaves a lot of shadings. And then an ink by Pilot for the dipping pen. This is one of the most recommended inks for alcohol marker drawings. And we're going to be using Blick Studio alcohol markers is what I will be using, and it has a brush tip, and it also has a chisel tip as well. These are really hard to open sometimes. I struggle with it. And here you cannot put the caps together because they just don't fit. So here's the sketchbook. This is how it turned out with all the lovely stickers. And this is what the inside looks like. It has two papers of end pages, and then here is the white piece of paper and the black piece of paper are stuck together. So as here you can see that the white paper, you're not supposed to use it, otherwise you're just ripping the binding from the end pages, which is the black paper. So you always want to skip that part of that paper and then just move on to the next page. That way you don't ruin the binding. Siempre les recomiendo que empiecen en la segunda página si la primera página y el papel de color están pegados juntos, así para que no rompan el libro. Pero si quieren usar la primera página, está bien, nomás con cuidado que no lo rompan, así para que no se destruya tu libro. Now that I'm done with the sketch, I will be using the dipping pen to line up my sketch. And I will be using two different types of nib. One is a G nib and the other one is a much finer nib. Ahora vamos a usar la tinta y también vamos a usar dos diferentes tipos de punta. Una es la mediana y el más fino lo voy a usar para las cejas y las pestañas. For much of the liner, we will be using the G nib, and then for the much smaller details, we are going to be using the finer nib. The reason why we're going to be using a dipping pen and not a micron or a fine liner is because with fine liners, we already know that there's most likely not going to be a bleed through or anything like that, just because fine liners are very well made and they have such good ink. But we don't know how well this paper will work with a dipping pen because, as you know, dipping pens are very harsh on all types of paper, even mixed media paper. Usually for dipping pens, you will be using Bristol board, and that is because Bristol board is good at holding up those scratches from a dipping pen, and Bristol board is good at holding up from the paper from bleeding.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
For this part of the video, we're going to be seeing how well this paper holds up with alcohol markers. And I've already done the first layer and I still don't see any bleed through. Here we go on to the second layer and we're going to see if there's bleed through. So roughly I'm going to do about 5 layers for the skin and also around 3 layers for everything else. So let's see how well this paper holds up with all those layers. Esta parte del video vamos a estar viendo cómo el papel reacciona con los marcadores de alcohol. Ya tenemos la primera capa y la segunda capa y todavía no enseña que está sangrando por el otro lado. Así que hay que seguir. Aquí estamos con la tercera tapa. As you could see, there's still no sign of bleeding, and this is the third layer. And now we are moving on to the fourth layer, which is the shadows of the face.
start turning brown. Red and yellow, soon they'll be falling down. Now, I'm not ready.
You know, I often hear people talking about how scary the first page can be, and how sometimes people feel overwhelmed or anxious, or they feel that the first page always has to be perfect in some way because it's an introduction to the sketchbook. And for some reason, I've never felt like this for a sketchbook on the first page. I always felt that, you know, the sketchbook was meant to just, well, sketch and practice. And that's what it's meant for initially. But I think people just need some time getting used to their new sketchbook. So here's my little tip for you guys. If you guys are ever trying out a new sketchbook, just like I am right here doing with you guys, I am reviewing this brand new sketchbook that I've never tried before. And I'm starting on, well, I'm not technically starting on the first page, but it is a first page that I'm drawing on. So do treat the first page as an introduction, but an introduction where you are getting to know your sketchbook. Not introduction to where, you know, this first sketch is going to define the rest of your sketchbook. You know, the first page is about you experimenting with the paper that you're drawing on. What mediums are you using? Do you like the mediums that you're using with this sketchbook, or do you not like it? Do you like the texture of the sketchbook as you're drawing with it? Is it a fast drying paper? I'm not sure. What is it doing? Is it leaving all of that ink, or is it leaving all of the color pencils or oils, you know, on top of the surface and not seeping through? Do you like it if it bleeds? Do you not like it if it bleeds? What is the first page doing for you? That is how you want to treat that first page. And if you're still having a hard time figuring out what to sketch on that first page, just sketch something that you like sketching. Sketch something that you love. For me, I love sketching bunnies, so most of the time in my first pages of my sketchbook, it's most likely going to be a bunny. That is what I usually go for. And that way I can just focus on figuring out whether or not I even like the sketchbook. So here's what the drawing is looking like, and so far there's no bleed through. I don't think I'm going to be putting any more layers on here. I think this is the final layers. And then now it's time for this part. But before we do that, let me tell you a little bit about this paper. So this paper is very white. It's not like in any cream color or anything. It's just very white paper. So it might hurt your eyes a little bit if you're here drawing for a long time. But other than that, the paper is amazing. I guess it makes sense that it's this white. That way the color can really show up on the paper. And then as for how well it works with the ink, I don't think there was any bleeding. I don't see anything. When I was using it, there wasn't any bleeding, and I don't see that it bled anywhere afterwards. So yeah, there's no bleeding on here, which is great. That means the paper inside here works. There's a lot of eraser shavings. Every time I draw, there's always so much eraser shavings left on my desk. It's kind of annoying. Then it gets all over my sketchbook and hands and stuff like that. Yeah, the blending is good for this paper. There is a little bit of texture to it, but it's not that noticeable. I don't know if you guys can see it. But there is some texture to it. Oh yeah, look right here. If you look right here, you can see that there is some texture. So there is gonna be some friction on here on the paper, but it won't. I don't think it'll ruin your brushes. What else is there? Yeah, the paper works well for blending the colors. The only reason why mine has like a lot of those brush marks and stuff like that. It's not really the paper, it's more me. I don't really know how to use alcohol markers that much. I've only used them a couple of times, and the times that I have used them, sometimes I get good results and sometimes I don't. It's just a matter of practice. I don't think there's something that I can show you. Okay. I guess in the sketchbook I can show you. Let's see if I have anything. Okay, here. Like, you can just see like the amount of streakiness that I just make. It's not really the paper, it's just me. Overall, I really like this sketchbook. I think it's great, especially if you're someone that doesn't like having loose sheets of paper, like me. And really, I just really needed a sketchbook that could hold alcohol marker and inks well and that didn't bleed. So I think this is perfect. I think this went beyond my expectations and it did exactly what it said it would do. I mean, there was no bleeding in the back. And this paper is not that thick. Like, if you look at it, it's not that thick of a paper. It just holds ink and alcohol really well. And I'm really surprised. I thought it wouldn't be like this good, but it is. So if you're someone who is learning how to do manga or wants to do more alcohol marker drawings or sketches or even doing some inking, I would say get the sketchbook. This is a wonderful sketchbook. Yeah, dude, just get it. Don't hold back on this sketchbook right here, because I feel like you're gonna love it. I mean, I did. So we're gonna move on from the sketchbook, and then we're just gonna do a little bit of cleaning here. I still have some, I don't know if I need to wash my nibs or not. No, I think they're good. Okay, I'm just gonna put these things away, and then we're gonna take a look at the wow, look at that. They're so beautiful. They really are stunning. So these color pencils are water soluble, and what that means is that you can use them with water. Like, you could sketch with it first and then afterwards add some water to it. So that's why there's this brush right here. So you can get all sorts of different values if that's something that you like to do. I know sometimes I do that. I wanted to get these especially because they're double-sided, and sometimes I just don't want to be carrying around, 24 color pencils. And so here's a closer look at what they look like. So my reason for purchasing these were the fact that I wanted to be able to use color pencils while I was either urban sketching or just sketching outdoors, or if I just wanted to do a quick sketch here at the studio. And so that's why I got these, because they were double-sided, and I had already gotten the red and the blue double-sided color pencil that they sell at Blake's by Carandosh, and those ones are also water soluble. And I really liked sketching with those because they were double-sided, and I would just do my initial sketch with like the red, and then afterwards I would go back in with the blue, and I would just be sketching like that, trading off both colors. And I also had another one where it was neon yellow, and then the other side was a graphite, and same thing, it was from Carandosh, and it was double-sided as well, and I really enjoyed using those two. So that is just what drew me to purchasing these color pencils. And obviously one of their biggest benefits is that they are watercolor soluble, so you can easily blend them anywhere you're at. You don't need any solvents, you just need water. And it comes with a little brush that you could use. And another thing is that they just blend pretty well. I would say, like, just using them like that. You could blend it with your finger if you want to. But yeah, that's what I like about it. I wasn't expecting these color pencils to be like super I guess soft and, you know, easily blendable, but they are very opaque color pencils. So as you can see there, I was doing a little bit of highlights with the pink one on the lips, and you could tell that the pink could stay on top by itself. And overall, the colors are just really wonderful. I think they made a great selection of colors here. So if you're going to be doing a portrait, you could easily do a portrait. Or if you're going to be, you know, doing a landscape sketch, you could do that too. And overall, if you're just someone who likes to use color pencils, I think you're just going to really enjoy these, especially because there are 24 and it is double-sided. So you could easily take it anywhere. Because I know sometimes it's difficult to take your whole set of color pencils like somewhere else. And also limiting yourself to a few color pencils sometimes is kind of hard. Sometimes you just don't want to do that. Sometimes you just want all sorts of a range of colors and values. So that's why I really like this set of color pencils here. And it also comes in a really nice box too. So that's a good thing. And the box is very protective. They sit just right on top of the little cushion. And if you shake it, it won't make any noise because you're just very well protected, and it fits nice in there and snug. That way, if you drop it, you have no worries. The color pencils will be fine. They won't get damaged at all. Pues eso es todo. Muchas gracias por mirar este video y te veo cuando te veo. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you when I see you. Hope you enjoyed it.